Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. And welcome to summer week 2 of the Don't Wake the Dragon build series. I just got back from campus. I picked up the second batch of glass. I still have 2 more to go, and I did have one of the pieces crack in the kiln. I don't really know what happened. I think maybe the panel, because it was so large, was a little bit wonky, and when it started to settle, it cracked on itself because it had clean lines, crack that ran through the middle. It kind of like rolled over it, and somehow it like slid away from itself. So I put that one back in. I smushed the 2 pieces back together, put in a little bit of clear glass, and hopefully that will repair itself. Really don't want to have to remake the panel again. I do have glass if I need to, but I'm kind of living with the cracks at this point. There were a couple other panels at similar situation, and I just kind of rolled with it. So I'm okay with that as long as it is watertight, and visibly seeing that crack is not that big of a deal to me. I did decide that I was not happy with the finish on the frame part. So I sanded it down, and then I went over it with some teak oil. I gave it 2 good coats of teak oil. It's much softer now. It still has a little bit of weird pitting, but it's more livable. I was not happy with the weird sheen and the uneven finish. It had just bits of lint that was in the air. Even though I did it under high heat and it dried in like 15-20 minutes, it still was very difficult to keep things from blowing around, and I don't have a controlled enough environment to do that type of a finish. Whatevs, no worries. That's kind of why I'm treating the surface of the dragon the way I am, by adding in that fabric so that I can offset, not have a pristine spray booth room to be doing these type of finishes in. I have it all rigged up over there because I'm about to take some measurements and make the next set of panels that will connect the body to that back piece. The frame still has a lot more work to be done. The frame pieces are cut, but that's as far as I got. So these need to get set up on there, the drill holes put through, and the screws epoxied in. But I'm waiting on the glass because I did notice that when I laid some of these over the opening holes with the few pieces of glass that I had, some of these cuts were a little bit too much. Something got lost in translation, and it's been too long since I visited them. These corners were too clean. You could see gapping in the glass. I need to take little pieces of plywood, get it into this corner, glue in a little like rounder, softer touch before any finish goes on to these pieces. First thing I want to do is cut out the missing pieces that will get the body attached to the back, and I'm going to have to deal with some finicky measurements to get that going. I'm just also probably going to need to have brackets, but that way I can attach those panels to the body, get the fiberglass part of that going, pull the frame back in, and work on the frame separately. Bit of a tight squeeze over here, but this is about as good as I'm going to get it. This is a little bit off-ish, but the frame is thin and it's moving, so I'm going to go ahead and move the frame out, and I'm going to get this adhered in. I got to get the strips on so I can lock it into place. I can go from there. There's going to be more matching needing to happen down this end, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, I'm going to get on with getting on. So spent the last several days running back and forth to campus to deal with the glass and trying to sort out that back body. I did initially put on the two pieces once it was hardened, and I tried to rig this up seamlessly. One of the pieces was not quite right, so I had to do some modification, cutting it up and readjusting. And then it became really apparent to me that no matter what I do, I'm never going to be able to get it to a point where this piece can stay separate because of the way that the body is and the amount of flex in the shaping. This has to be screwed and connected to the body and glassed over in such a way that I'm going to lose the finish I was trying to retain. So all the work I did with trying to maintain the wood grain on this is basically going to be lost, because what I need to do now is sand this down and coat it in the green mica, because I'm going to end up with drippage either way on this frame when I try to connect this to the other piece. There's just no way around it. It is what it is. I wasn't quite 100% happy with the way that this was getting finished up anyway because of the texture and the way that the resin was going on. I will still get this up to the green mica stage that all the other bits are coming up to, but instead of putting holy fabric over this section, I think I might go with the meshy open knit. It was the second fabric that I had been messing with when I was doing the testers. That way I'll get still a little bit of a separation between what this back side is. It'll have a slight different pattern than the exterior. I wanted it to look like the underside of a fat belly dragon, and even though the way that the dragon is laying, this is technically the back, it's kind of like that section of the belly of the dragon that peeked out. That will allow me to get this attached to the body. Once it has the green mica, I can then hide all of my lines, and when I come to do that final finish of fabric, it'll be much easier because I will just be putting the mesh over this. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I was able to coat the other side of the frame back there, so both sides have had a coat of resin. Unfortunately, I lost a grouping of glass, that one panel that separated from itself, and I tried to repair it, and then I made the mistake of overfiring. It's incredible to me how a matter of 5 minutes when it comes to glass makes an insane amount of difference. It got way overcooked with the frosting. I want some frosting, but this stuff is just way too overdone. Thankfully though, the ones that were in that are bad are the original two that cracked and the one that newly cracked. These 3 panels are gonna have to get remade. I went through, pulled out all of my old molds. I don't have enough left over fired, so I'm gonna have to dig up the molds that I need to do that round first. So I'll have to do a round of making these pieces. I thought I was gonna start cutting glass today for these, but after I opened up the box and realized I don't have any replacement circles, I'm gonna go ahead and get those ready to go. I will take the rest of the pieces of glass that are ready, bring that frame back up here, start drilling placement holes so that I can put the screw heads in. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's still another 3 rounds of glass in, so there's 3 more panels that are inside the kiln. I'm not sure what the outcome of that's gonna be. Right at the moment, I'm reworking 3. There's a possibility that that may end up being even more, depending on how the other 3 go, but fingers crossed that all goes well with that. I don't anticipate there to be a problem, but knock on wood. With firings, you know, you never know. It's the problem with ceramics, and clearly it's the same issue with glass, because you throw things in and you just don't know what the outcome is going to be until it's out of the kiln. That's just the nature of the material. Well, best laid plans. I have too many molds and not enough glass. I'm gonna have to smash some glass. Unfortunately, I brought my sieves to school. I know it's a sieve. I like calling it a sieve because I think a sieve just, you know, depends sieve. My sieves to school along with the bags for my students to smash bottles with. Thankfully, I ordered a new pair of the sneakers, which came in another Vans bag, so I have a bag, and I'm gonna make do with some screen and some mesh that I have around, and hopefully I can get close to the consistency that I need to fill these molds. This is like a big batch of deja vu, but it's like I'm over it kind of point of this whole situation. Mama, I gotta smash things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not upset that I have to like remake these things, but I'm just at the point where it's like, come on already. I want to be done. I want to see this dragon together. I want to sleep in it, damn it. Exactly working out well. This is the medium and I need something before this one. I'm just getting back from another trip to campus. I loaded up all of the little molds with the crushed glass in it. They're gonna take 3 days before I can go back to them, take them out and put in the glass. I made the mistake early on by opening the kilns too soon, and I think that it's just a lot easier if I wait out the time, and because it is a half-hour no traffic commute for me to get to campus and then another half-hour back, I've been showing up a little too early. The kiln hasn't been quite cool enough. I'm gonna make sure that I give it a full 3 days, so I will not be returning till next week, which will be a whole nother vlog. I've gotta like put the frame situation out of my mind, at least for this week, and I'm gonna head over and start working on the front end of the dragon. I need to create the section where the head sits on a foot, and the foot was a piece that was not part of those original 2 models that I crammed together in Frankenstein. They're parts that I created myself. I always knew that there was gonna be some room for adjustment in there. Y'all, this is about as far as I'm gonna get for this vlog. I'm gonna call it here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch this project all unfold, and remember, don't wake the dragon. What? Oh, you chatty. I know. What's happening? Yes, Miss Cleo. Oh. I know. What you doing? You've like taken over my dragon. You're gonna let me pet you? I want to touch you. I want to snuggle you. Oh. Why you always run from me? Don't run from me. I feed you. Little boo.